Hi, I'm Dr. Katie. I'm both a medical doctor and a breast cancer survivor. And today I want to talk a bit about how to be mentally prepared for your cancer journey. It's a daunting topic, isn't it? I don't know if I was mentally prepared for mine. I really didn't know what to expect. The biggest thing I didn't realize up front was that it was going to be a marathon and not a sprint. There's lots of analogies about fighting the good fight and winning the cancer battle. And yeah, I mean, I guess it is a battle. But unlike a battle, that is short and you fight to the death and then it's over, once you have cancer and you survive, I mean, it's a lifelong thing. And making sure that you gear yourself up for potential burnout is important. And thinking about it as a marathon and not a sprint, I think would have been probably the most helpful thing for me initially, because I felt at about the 9-month period of active treatment, I just felt really burned out, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. But I had to do it because I wanted to live. The other thing, I had a wonderful piece of advice from one of my close friends who's also a psychiatrist. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I was just overwhelmed. Unfortunately, my boyfriend at the time was also overwhelmed, and he left me, and I don't know, I was a bit of an emotional wreck initially, but my mother came, and between diagnosis and starting chemo, it was about a week. So one of the most helpful tips that I had from my friend who was a psychiatrist was like, look, now is not the time to be processing your emotional response to having breast cancer at 35. Now is the time for action. Now is the time to focus on your treatments, showing up, enduring each day and enduring your treatments and doing whatever it takes to get through your treatment so that you can live. And when you finish and you've survived, you can deal with any sort of emotional fallout. And I leaned into that, and that was the advice that I needed. I don't think, I'm also a doctor and a mental health professional, and I normally would never tell my patients to ignore their emotions. But he was actually right in the sense that when you first start out, especially if you start out with chemo, you may be just too unwell to really be able to be processing those emotions deeply. When I started chemo a week later, I was really tired, I was nauseous, I was vomiting, and then with time, with the chemo, I had a lot of physical symptoms of chemo. I was tired, sorry, not physical symptoms, but cognitive, that's what I meant to say. Cognitive symptoms. My brain wasn't the same. And I was miserable. My treatments were miserable, and I needed to focus on being happy, and I needed to focus on enduring and living in the present moment as best I could. And that's what I did. And I found moments that I was just really happy despite debilitating pain or side effects. There were happy moments. So, that was a key thing for me. And then the other key thing was, having a more mindful perspective. I didn't realize it at the time that I was starting to practice mindfulness, but I really was. And I think that when you're suffering physically, you are forced to be focused more fully on the present moment because you're just trying to survive that moment. So I guess to sum it up, if you want to be mentally prepared for your cancer journey, remember it is a marathon, not a sprint. To focus on enduring with mindfulness. Focus on just getting through the day to day. And if you're not in a position to deal with the mental and emotional response you have to the diagnosis when you're going through the grueling physical treatments, that's okay. When you survive, there will be time to work through that. If that's something that you need as a part of your journey, then embrace it. You know, more and more cancer centers are starting to have psychologists on board that you can talk to. And it's an emotional roller coaster. I know that being on the other side, I thought that I would finish all the treatments and enter the survivorship phase and life would be easy, this magical place. It hasn't been. It's been a struggle in and of itself, but I'm happy to be alive and working each day to prevent cancer recurrence and still fighting the great fight that anyone who's a cancer survivor knows. And I guess the last thing I'll share with you guys is you will never feel fully prepared mentally or physically to get through and survive your cancer treatments, and that's okay. Sorry for the dogs barking in the background. And that's okay. You can make it, and there are tons and tons of supports, you know, friends and family, support groups on Facebook. Reach out to me. I'm happy to be a support as well. And, you know, at the end of the day, you don't have to be fully prepared. Just take it a day at a time. Thank you.